What's going on, YouTube? Apple had an event today. We're going to talk about some of the things that I was interested in. 4 things were announced today. You have the Apple News Plus, you have the Apple TV Plus, you had the Apple Card, and then you had the Apple Arcade. Now, out of those 4 things, I really don't care too much about TV because I'm not a big TV watcher. I have, I think, a Netflix account that I rarely use. I share it with some other friends. And then the news app, I do use that. I get the suggested articles on the splash page of the iPhone, and I'll usually read that and read a couple interesting articles. But as far as like the News Plus with the magazines, that's $9.99 that I'm not going to spend. By the way, they haven't announced all of the prices for these services, but somehow I think they're all going to float around $9.99 because that just seems to be the Apple thing to do. And pretty soon, they're going to $9.99 us to death because, I mean, you got to think about it. You're paying for Apple Music, that's like $9.99. You're paying for iCloud service, I believe that's $9.99 for the terabyte. And then you're going to have Apple News. It's going to be another $9.99. And then the Apple TV, I can't remember if they announced the price of that or not. But that's going to be another price too. I mean, goodness, you're paying just $50 in additional services. But that's neither here nor there. It's not for everybody, and I don't think that there's somebody that's going to need all of those services. But anyway, moving on. TV, didn't really care too much about. News, just talked about that. News Plus really wasn't a big thing for me. Now, the Apple Card. I think it's a cool idea, and I knew that Apple was going to try and outdo themselves in some way, shape, or form. The card's made of titanium. So, when you hand that to somebody, you're going to want them to respect your credit card. You don't want to have a bunch of scratches and dents, and it's going to look ugly after it gets handled after a long time. You know it is. So I can already imagine somebody somewhere is going to make a Apple Card protector or something to that effect. It's going to happen. If not, I'm going to do it and get paid because people are not going to want these nice, pristine titanium cards to look bad. And of course, they're going to want to show them off because that's why it's titanium. It's laser etched titanium. So, yeah, that's going to be a thing. Oh, and look forward to that being like back ordered until like 2020 because there's going to be, I mean, I don't think there's an additional price for the card. So once you get approved for, that's another thing they didn't talk about either. Is that there's going to be some type of credit approval. They're not just going to give these cards out to anybody that wants one. And it is a cool idea to not have any type of like late fees and stuff like that because Apple's going to get their money. They don't need to charge people late fees in order to try and incentivize people, paying their bill on time or anything like that. Nah, Apple's already charging you whatever, so they know they're going to get their money. If you've ever had a credit card that was bad on iTunes and see how they just completely, you can't even update an app if something's wrong with your iTunes account. Yeah, it's not fun. Apple knows how to get their money. If you owe Apple, they're going to get it from you. And just think about the fact that you get all these services now and you've got a Apple Card tied to your phone. They know you got the money because they know your credit level. And they're going to make sure that they get theirs. But anyway, that was the other 3 services. One I'm most interested in is the Apple Arcade, which I feel like that's going to divide the App Store. I think that's the first thing that I was actually thinking of when it comes to that. They're promising 100 plus exclusive games for the platform. which basically is gonna, I mean, if you have a 10, 10X, a 10S Max, or any new Apple device, you should be good to go with the service. But you're looking at the fact that you now have a service that's giving you games, 100 plus exclusive games for free. But then you also have the App Store that has games too. Games you can pay for and games you can own permanently. Now these 100 plus exclusive games aren't going to be on that platform. And what's keeping new developers from making stuff that's just for that versus something that's in the App Store that anybody can purchase and buy? I feel like there's going to be a divide since that whole service is offering ad-free, microtransaction-free gaming. So anybody that's interested in pretty much a flat rate for the games they make, it's going to show up there. I'm pretty sure Apple is giving some developers some type of incentive to do that. But the App Store could end up just being nothing but games with tons of microtransactions. It could turn into just, and there's some good games. There's some very good games on the App Store right now that you don't have to spend a dime for. But are they going to still be there after this service launches, where they can go and they can make themselves a good amount of money without having to worry about charging people? And then you've got the rest of us that don't have the service and have to look at an ad every 60 seconds. So that's a concern that I had with that as well. If you look at the trailer, you saw that they threw Sonic in there because they were like, look, we have a recognizable character. And then there was that other game that looks just like Breath of the Wild. I mean, the main character even looks just like Link. And I forget what outfit it is in the game, but it looks just like Link. I mean, they even threw him on a motorcycle, which looks just like the motorcycle that they ended up putting in Breath of the Wild. So they wanted that, you could tell they wanted that brand recognition, but then they wanted those generic characters in order to, appeal to other genres. And I have no doubt that those games are going to actually be good, because these phones have gotten so powerful that, Fortnite looks gorgeous on an iPhone 10. And the 10S Max, you can even up the settings to make it look even better, 60 frames per second, and even epic settings on the 10S Max, which I think at this point is the only phone that can do that right now. But it's looking good. They didn't announce a price, and I was talking about that earlier, that it was probably going to be like $9 for, $9.99 for the service. I can't see it being more than that. If it is, that's not a smart idea for a monthly service. I mean, sure, you've got access to a whole lot of games, but it's not a streaming service. So it's not like you can just hop in, play a game right then and there. You still have to deal with phone storage. So if you end up getting a game, you're downloading this game. If it's graphics intensive, it's going to take up space. You're pretty much going to be playing the same 2 or 3 games that you latch on to pretty often. So you're pretty much paying a monthly fee to have a couple games on your phone. Now, if it was a streaming service where you could just pick up a game right there, play it, ditch it if you want to, pick up another one, yeah, you can do that if you're on Wi-Fi. But for the pick up and play aspect of it, if it's not a streaming service, you're pretty much going to latch onto a couple games and end up paying a monthly fee just for 4 or 5 games, which I guess that's me. I don't know. Is that you? I feel like that's what I'm going to end up doing if I was to have a service like that, is just latch onto a couple games and play it. Now, if they had like a yearly plan, people may fall more into that, where they're not, seeing, $9 pop up on their bill every month for something that they're using maybe 3 or 4 times out their month. I feel like that's a better way to grab money in the long haul, but that's up to them, and then that's up to the buyer if they have services like that. I just know that I'm tired of seeing like $9.99 a month for Apple Music, and then another. I don't have the 1 terabyte plan. I have like the smaller one, which I think is like $3, but it's $3 for the iCloud plan, and yeah, that's pretty much all that I'm willing to give on a monthly basis. But if the games come out and if they're pretty good, I may throw a couple months into it. But it's the exclusivity, because if the games are that good and they're only on that platform, people will get it. I mean, that's why people buy PS4s and Xbox Ones and Switches, for the exclusive games. There's games that will appear on every single one, but if you want something exclusive, you don't mind paying for that system in order to get it. So, rambling on, that's Apple Arcade, and looking forward to it this fall. I'll give it a shot. I think the only thing that's available right now is the News, Apple News Plus, which I saw something about a free trial. I don't know for sure. Check it out if you're interested. And also, when this Apple Arcade thing actually drops, do you want to see some gameplay footage on this channel of it? If there's a game that piques my interest, I may go ahead and get the service, and I may show you I may do some type of review or something, so that you know what you're getting yourself into. Because it's going to be, if it's 100 plus exclusive games, it's pretty much going to be new territory as far as like games and reviews go. So I wouldn't mind jumping in that, on the ground floor. So anyway, that's it. This is a pretty long video, and I'm going to leave it at that. If there's anything that comes up in the next couple months, I may update my thoughts on the services. But that's it for tonight. What did you think about the Apple event? Go ahead and leave your comments below if you care to. Subscribe and like the video, because that always helps one other person see it, maybe. I'm still trying to get to 30 subscribers, so I'll see you in the next video. Peace.